Good morning, and welcome to the Cybersecurity Training for Business Managers. I am pleased that so many of you are taking advantage of this excellent opportunity. More than ever, it is critical that we all take cybersecurity seriously. For those who want to do us harm, the means, motive, and opportunities are there. There are over 300 new vulnerabilities reported each month, as well as over 400 new worms and viruses reported each month. The constant din of cyber attacks is deafening. As managers, it is essential that you and your agency are personally vested in implementing sound cybersecurity practices. You must look at this issue holistically, from cradle to grave, from the beginning, and not as an afterthought. It is important to emphasize that cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. It does not rest solely with the Information Security Office. It is as much a management issue as it is a technology one. Implementing sound cybersecurity practices is the responsibility of each of us. Security must be a second nature as buckling your seatbelt. Each of us must do our part. It is now, today, your turn to do your part. During this training, you will hear, see, and discover that information security is a business and risk management function. Additionally, today, the training will also be able to be applied on how you can make your home environment more secure and protect your own personal information. Computers and the internet are not going away. They are tremendous tools that can bring the world to your doorstep. Unfortunately, they can also be used for malicious purposes. As business managers, you have an important role in ensuring that your agency is as cyber secure as it can be. Your role and responsibilities are defined in the State Information Security Policy. Each of you have received a copy of that policy and should be familiar with it. Just putting that policy on a shelf will not make you secure. You can make a big impact on your agency. As managers, you can make important business decisions and act as a role model for others. You can help set the tone and be an example for all of those who work for and with you. Information security is very much a part of the decisions you make and the risk you manage. Thank you for making this commitment to be here today and doing your part in making us more cyber secure. I would like to now welcome the presenter for today's session, Kim Snyder of SAIC, formerly of AMA. Kim is going to spend the next 2.5 hours helping you understand the information security in the context of your work environment. We are videotaping the session, as Tina just mentioned, and will make it available upon request so managers may benefit from this training as well. Kim has over 19 years of experience in technology in the public and private sector. She is an IT director with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and has consulted and trained individuals for over 11 years. And I want to thank you all, and please welcome Kim.
Good morning. Okay, a little bit about the training session today and kind of my focus. First, as Will mentioned, you all received, when you registered for the class, a copy of the policy, P03-002. What the next 2 hours, or 2.5 hours, are going to be focused on is I'm going to try to assist you in giving you a lens in which to observe and understand all of the components in the policy. I'm going to focus on the components of the policy that are most important to you as business managers. Some of those components are: each agency must use the information security policy as a baseline to keep your agency's information secure. Each agency is responsible for identifying or designating an information security officer. How many people in the room know who your information security officer is? Okay, good. Another aspect of the policy is each agency is responsible for identifying information owners. We're going to talk about that in detail later. Is there anybody in the audience that has been identified as an information owner? Okay, a few. Next, each agency is responsible to provide security awareness and education training. And finally, each agency is responsible to report any information security incidents to the information security officer. So basically, those are the components I'm going to focus on today. I'm also going to focus on giving you business managers a baseline of understanding of what are the risks, what are the threats, what are the vulnerabilities regarding the information that you are responsible for within your agencies. A little bit about myself. As Will mentioned, I have 19 years of information technology experience, ranging from working within the public sector and the private sector. Couple functions. I served as a systems analyst for environmental protection. I piloted the GPS, the first GPS navigational equipment handheld devices for Massachusetts and the EPA. I helped the Department of Corrections develop a database of criminals. I've consulted and rolled out new systems across the nation, as well as I was a LAN WAN administrator, which means, for those of you that are not too technical, that I manage 2 locations or more with multiple PCs. Most recently, I developed an information awareness security training program with a large state agency. Why I'm remotely telling you all of this? Oh, and I was a principal in a computer-aided drafting and design company. I'm in your buildings every day. I scare me. What could I do? What am I looking for? Well, some of the information is on people's desks, such as paper. Some people walk away from their PCs and they don't log out. I love that. Now, when I walk into your organizations or the private sector, what am I met with every day? I walk in, there's a security guard, usually. Sometimes they stop me, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they ask me for identification, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they verify my identification, meaning, do you think I could use someone else's license? Just wave it by if it's another woman? Do you think they really look? Do I look like I'm going to do anything? Some organizations actually will call upstairs and verify that I have a meeting with the person that I'm supposed to be meeting with. So, giving you my background, giving you the scenario, and you all know what your own organizations are like. When I waltz through your offices, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for pieces of paper left on the desk. What kind of information? Memos, org charts, project plans? What would I possibly do with that stuff? Let's use this scenario. Hi.
Hello.
What's your name?
Brian.
Hi, Brian. Brian, let's say this is your desk, okay? And you and I are chatting. And what you don't realize is I'm not remotely interested in anything you have to say. Now, Brian, a few things that I see. I see an org chart. Love that. Give me organizational structure, and I can work your organization. Another thing, memo. A memo to Brian from, what's your name?
Walter.
Hi, Walter.
Hi, how are you?
Good. A memo to Brian from Walter regarding project PDP-3.
Probably useless.
And it says, Brian, while I'm on vacation, please contact, what's your name?
Ernie.
Ernie. Please contact Ernie with any questions you may have, and he'll send you any email or get you any files that you need. Now, in that situation, I know what the players' names are, I know what the name of a project plan is, and I've kind of identified Ernie, in this situation, as a low man on the totem pole or a keeper of the information. So potentially, I could call up Ernie and say, hi, I talked to Walter, and he said you would do this for me. Just a thought. Now, another thing that I would look for, typically, phone lists. I love phone lists. How many times have you ever lost a phone list? You can't find it, Do you put an APB out for it? What do? You just go to somebody else and you grab it and you photocopy it, right? Or you go and you find it and you print it. Again, phone lists tell who you are, what your extension is, sometimes your job title, just something to think about. Those are things I would think of. That kind of perusing through your organization and that kind of manipulation is called social engineering. Has anybody heard of it? Okay. So that's one social engineering technique, and I'll talk about a couple of others today. Now that's the paper world. I'll talk about paper even more later because it drives me crazy how we just leave it around. The other piece is technology. As Will mentioned, information security is by no means a technological problem. It's a business problem. It is a mindset. We have to keep our information secure. So, technology, think of a diskette for a moment, or a CD. Does anyone know how many pages, non-graphical pages, fit on a diskette? About 1,400. How many pages fit on a CD? 640,000. Right? So I love an organization that has a lot of information, somebody's PC is logged in, and it has a CD burner. Just a thought. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about things that you can, I hope, be more aware of in keeping your agency secure. So again, some of the training objectives. I'm going to help you develop an understanding of the New York State Information Security Policy. I'm going to assist you in managing the risk of security exposure or compromise to business systems, application information. I'm going to assist you in protecting the confidentiality, the integrity, the availability of information. And finally, I'm going to assist you in recognizing a security weakness. I think I already have. The agenda is two parts. The first part, I'm going to focus on what is information, how are we going to keep it secure, and I'm going to give you a baseline of understanding that I mentioned to help business managers keep information secure. We will have a 15-minute break. The second part predominantly focuses on risk assessments. As business managers, you will be asked to potentially assist in performing a risk assessment. How do you do it? I'm going to talk about that and demystify it a little bit. And then finally, how you can be a security role model within your agencies. If you don't set the example, then how can you expect your staff to keep information secure? Within both parts of the session today, I have a short video. The first one's roughly 6-7 minutes. The second one in the second part of the session is about 11 minutes. And they illustrate cyber attacks. Take a look inside of your packets. These are yours to keep. First, you have the agenda. Next, Tina's slipped in. She's a sly one. Her agenda for the 2004 Cybersecurity Conference in April. And you have a more specific training agenda. You have Business Managers Threats 101, a training evaluation. As Tina mentioned, at the end of the session, please, feedback is really important to us. Take your time, fill out the evaluation. When you hand it in, we have a CD for you that contains information security videos. So you can use them back at the office. Because as I mentioned, in the policy, training is mandatory. Roles and responsibilities of your EISO. And New York State Information Security Policy points. Again, those are yours to keep. Throughout the session, I will ask you to turn to them just to refresh your memory that they're there. They're pretty much your notes for the session, which is kind of nice.